What's in a name? Well, a name is very important to people. So when you decide to become a Muslim, or when you are thinking to become a Muslim, though that is a subject that frequently comes up more often than not. And the reason that is because even Muslims have the misconception that when you become a Muslim, you have to change your name to a Muslim name. But what is a Muslim name? Didn't names exist before Islam came? Now I know what you're thinking. Islam existed long before what people think was the timeline for Islam. However, that's a separate show altogether. What I'm talking about right now is when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was made a prophet and the Quran was given to him, people already existed and people already had names. Now, as far as I can tell, I've done a little bit of research, and as far as I can tell, the names of the prophets are unique to them, and only after that they started coming into use. And I don't know if you know this, but FYI, Prophet Muhammad, his name is the most popular boy's name in the world currently. Okay? And maybe for some of you, you would like to think that it's mostly because Muslims like to have a lot of children. First of all, you shouldn't be shaming people for having children. It's not a scandal to have lots of children. If you are willing to have children and take care of them yourself personally, I don't see what the problem is. So stop shaming people for having children. So moving on, names existed from the beginning of time. If you want to name your child a Muslim name, you can look it up and you can find so many. However, this episode is for people who are reverts or converts and who are looking to get to become a Muslim or have converted already, and that's maybe a deal breaker for them, or it's a big deal for them because their parents who they love gave them that name, and as long as that name doesn't mean anything bad, there's no problem with keeping your name. Like if your name is not Aphrodite or Dionysos, which is the god of wine, astaghfirullah, on two different levels, that's a bad thing. But if your name doesn't mean something bad, like the short name for Richard, that's not a good name. It has to mean something good and positive. So that's what you have to go with. Don't stress yourself over jumping right in and changing everything about yourself, because you still have family. And so already becoming a Muslim as a Greek is going to be tough to begin with. It's going to be a deal breaker for your family. Why would you want to make it even worse for them, and for them to be feeling hurt and disrespected by you changing the name that they most likely took a lot of time to think about to name you? So you don't want to do that. You don't want to disrespect and ill-treat or mistreat your family. You have to take those things into consideration. So my suggestion is, keeping in mind that I'm not a sheikh, I'm not an imam, astaghfirullah, and I'm not a scholar, but from what I've read, it's okay to keep the name that you have. I've heard plenty of scholars say that it's okay to keep your name. It's your identity. What's the reason for changing it? Unless you're just in the mood to change your name. For Greek people, becoming a Muslim is going to be a really, really big deal. You know that, and I know that. So just so you know, this is just as a little FYI. Don't listen to people who tell you that it's haram to keep your Christian name or haram to not change your name. That's not true. And people who say things that are, people who say that something is haram and it's not haram, that in itself is haram. So be careful who you listen to. Don't listen to people who are have their culture ingrained, because it could go both ways. It's not just Greeks who are very cultural. Muslims can be very cultural also. So my name in Greek is Athanasia, right? I know it existed before Christianity, and the name Athanasia pre-existed Christianity. Anastasia, it pre-existed. in before Christianity. Okay? Maria, it pre-existed. They're not names that are haram. My name doesn't mean anything haram as far as I know. And if you think my name is haram, please comment down below. But there are lots of Greek names, traditional Greek names, that pre-existed Christianity, but are considered as saints' names today. But that doesn't make them haram if you don't believe in all this stuff. So you should be able to use it unless your name is after the goddess of love, Aphrodite. It should be fine. But if you want to be 100% sure, I suggest you talk to a scholar or somebody that you trust knows what they're saying and it's backed up by their education, and it should be fine. But yeah, don't stress over one more thing. Your life is going to change a lot by your hand. That's just one more thing that doesn't necessarily need to happen. Anyway, if you have any questions or any comments, don't forget to be nice, because otherwise you get deleted. And don't forget to share, like, follow, and subscribe. And that encourages the algorithm to push it out even more. That way, I can find more people that are Greek that have the same issues, and that we could talk to each other. Okay? For anybody that's fasting, happy Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem, and may Allah accept all your fasts and all your prayers. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.